In this video we're going to look at sidechaining, what it is, how it works, and I'm going to show you a couple of tricks as well, so stay tuned. Okay, so what I've got here is a kick, bass, synth and a drum loop that I've put together. I've only got the kick and the bass switched on at the moment. And as you can hear, the kick and the bass are clashing. And it's going to do that because there's a lot of low end. So when the kick is playing, we want the bass to duck out of the way a bit, and we do this with sidechain compression. So what we're going to do is we're going to grab our bass channel and we're going to add a compressor. I'm going to switch sidechain on, choose the kick track for the audio from, because we want the kick feeding into the compressor to duck the bass out of the way. I'm going to choose 10 milliseconds look ahead. I'm going to change the ratio to about 2. I'm going to switch to this wave mode here. And as I decrease the threshold, you can hear the bass ducking out of the way of the kick. If I take this a lot further down, it's a bit extreme, but you'll hear the effect a lot more predominant. Some instances you might want this sort of sound, but for now we just want it to duck out of the way of the kick to clean it up a bit. And that is basically sidechain compression. So let's have another look with our synth. So this sounds quite nasty at the moment, to be honest, but let's add a compressor in and also sidechain this from the kick. So we're going to take the sidechain from the kick. Again, I'm going to change look ahead to 10, ratio to about 2 for now. We might change this on this and to the wave mode. And I'm going to go quite extreme with this one. So as you can see, you can use sidechain compression on pretty much anything, including this drum loop. Let's check what we've got this on. Repitch that. So again, I'm going to grab the Live 8 compressor, sidechain from the kick. And here what we're doing, again, we're just creating a bit more room for that kick to ring through. So I'm going to show you a trick, or a shortcut really. Without using a compressor, what you can actually do in this instance, because the kick is a 4/4 kick, meaning it's hitting on every beat, we can use something like the Kickstarter. So let's use this synth for instance. I'm just going to solo it. I'm going to take the compressor off. But before I take it off, I'll show you what it's sounding like. So that's being triggered by the kick track. So let's take the compressor off, and I'm going to take the Nicky Romero Kickstart. So straight out of the box, this is just going to give you that 4/4 sidechain. You can change at the bottom. And you can blend it in with this mix knob. So what we're doing with this mix knob is basically what we were doing with the threshold on the compressor. and we're telling it to duck out of the way more or less. So when it's on 100%, the audio is ducking all the way down here and then coming back up on this half beat. You can switch the beats like this, but for a sidechain you're probably going to want it on a quarter note. So if I bring the mix knob down, you can see on this visual representation that when you bring the mix knob down, it's letting a lot more of the sound through. Okay, so if you don't have a kick that's on every beat, like a 4/4 kick, this is going to be something that's probably not as easy to use, especially when you want the bass to duck out of the way of the kick a little bit. Okay, so what I've got here is another example. This one is a hip hop break. And in this one, we can't use something like the kickstart because the kick is not on every beat. So what you've got to do, especially with a loop like this, is cut the kicks out. And I've got the rest of the beat here, so we're not doubling up these kicks and playing it along with this one. So what we can now do, now we've isolated these kicks, is take this channel and feed it through a Live 8 compressor again. Sidechain from SC kick. And what we can do on here, we've got pre-effects, post-effects and post-mixer. I usually leave it on post-effects, but it completely depends what I'm doing. Pre-effects is before any effects are applied to that channel. So if you applied any effects on here over the top of these kicks, the compressor on pre-effects would take the audio from the channel before any effects are applied. Post-effects is after that. And pre-effects and post-effects are both before the volume control. So post-mixer would mean whatever you've got the volume control set to, that's going to take the volume from that and feed it through the compressor. So I find post-effects is usually fine for me, but it depends. In this instance, it's not making a lot of difference. So what we're going to do is set up our compressor. And as you can hear there, we've ducked the bass out of the way while the kick hits. You could also do this with the snare if you wanted to cut the snare out, but I would suggest having the kick and the snare on separate channels and sidechaining the snare a little bit less than you do the kick, because there's not as much low end in your snare, so you don't want the bass to duck out of the way as much, if at all sometimes, but it can sound nice if you are getting a bit of mid frequency clashing. What you can do here is tweak the compressor, the input audio from this kick channel. If I click this little headphone here, let's just get the bass channel. You can just hear what's coming through. So now that I've switched this EQ on, you can have a band pass, low pass or high pass. Or add plus the shelf bell and high shelf. So in this one you can choose what want to be affecting the compressor. So I can just choose the low end there if I switch that back off. Only the low end of that kick is affecting the sidechain compression. So, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like and share. Remember to subscribe and ring the bell to keep up to date with future videos, and I'll see you next time.